Hi guys, I'm back with another book look, and this time I want to go through some of our new books that are probably geared more towards our female audience. So the first couple books I have are by Sara Dessen, and we have several other Sara Dessen books here in the library, so these are just some new additions. The first one is called This Lullaby. And then the second one is called Keeping the Moon. And I love Sara Dessen books because she always has one main character, and that's whose viewpoint the story revolves around. And she always seems to be experiencing some type of family issue, a friend issue, and then there's always a little bit of romance kind of woven in between. And by romance, I do mean middle school appropriate romance. So I know her books are really popular with some of my girls, so I have two more for you guys. And they are reading counts. They kind of range in between the high 600s to the low 800s. And one is 14 points and the other is 21. So obviously this one's a little bit shorter. Keeping the Moon's just a little bit shorter than This Lullaby. Now, another author that I particularly love to read because she kind of reminds me of Sara Dessen is Jenny Han. And I picked up two of her books. Book one is called To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And in this series, the main character, her name is Lara Jean, and she is actually Korean American, and so they kind of talk about that a little bit in the books. She lives with her widowed dad, so her mom has been dead for a while, and she has two sisters, one older sister that's in college and one younger sister that still lives at home. She's very close to her family, and she always kind of finds herself in situations. In this particular book, she has written 5 love letters to boys that have influenced her in some way, that she had a crush on or had some type of relationship with, and she wrote these letters just for herself, for closure. But what happens is they accidentally get mailed out, so they were never meant to go to those boys, but somehow they accidentally get mailed and these boys receive these letters. So in this book, she kind of goes through the struggle of dealing with that, and they're lighthearted, they're funny, they're good. So I really, really highly recommend these. So the second book to this series is called P.S. I Still Love You, and it kind of picks up where book one leaves off. And then there's also a third book, but I did not purchase that one because in book 3, Lara Jean actually moves on to college. So I felt like book 3 was probably more for high school level. So, you know, the author intends for her audience to kind of grow and mature as they go through the series themselves. So I have the first 2 of the 3. So both of those authors, Sara Dessen and Jenny Han, write more modern day stories. I'm going to kind of switch gears here a little bit and go with some romance books that are more dystopian or that were kind of like written in the past. So the first series I have is already pretty popular. I know Mrs. Q has these books, Mrs. Forget has some of these books, and it is the Selection series. And there are 5 books in it total. I have the first 4. The only reason I couldn't get book 5 is because they don't have it bound for school library yet. So that book 5 I'll probably have to buy at the beginning of next year. So the Selection series is by Kiera. I would say that they're read-alikes to the Matched series by Ali Kandi. I know some of you have read those and checked those out a lot. I would say these are more dystopian romance. If you ever watch The Bachelor on TV, it's kind of like that, but instead it's a girl picking the boys, and then also the boys picking the girls. So it's pretty good. It's fun. I like to say that these books are guilty pleasure reads because you can read them very quickly. You want to get through them because you want to know who gets picked, who gets chosen, and they're just fun. So these are all around 680 Lexile and about 1918 points. So the next series I want to talk about is not necessarily new, but I feel like it doesn't get enough attention, especially because I think it deserves attention. And that is a series by Maggie Stiefvater. And the series is actually called The Wolves of Mercy Falls. Shiver is book 1 of this series. And if you've read the Twilight series, or if you kind of like paranormal, more fantasy science fiction romance, you would really probably like this series. I will tell you that it is told between 2 characters. The main characters are Grace and Sam, so it kind of alternates chapters, and whenever it does that, it alternates their viewpoints. I like books like that, but I know some people kind of struggle with that. They find it confusing or hard to read. So Grace is a human, and Sam is a shape-shifting wolf. And these books are in the mid-700s, around 20 reading counts points. There are 4 books in this series. Shiver is book 1. I have book 2 and book 3. Book 4 just came out not that long ago, so again, that'll probably be one that I purchased at the beginning of next school year. And the last book I'm going to talk about is called The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. And I would say this would be a read-alike to The Hunger Games and Divergent. It's kind of more of an action dystopian romance. It kind of gives me the feeling that it was set in more like historical times. Like they talk about having balls, and whenever they fight, you know, they have like swords and knives. They don't really have like guns. So there's a lot of action. There's a fight or a war kind of going on between 2 different countries, and the main character gets kind of caught up with a boy that she shouldn't be in love with, but she is, but then she also feels loyal to her country and her dad, who is a political figure of that country. So this is actually book 1 of a trilogy. So again, it's called The Winner's Curse. The series is called The Winner's Trilogy. I'm just starting out with book 1 to kind of see how it goes over in the library, if it seems to be popular, if people seem to be liking it. I hate to invest a lot of money in buying, you know, an entire series if it doesn't seem like it's going to be a hit. But I've read this. I really recommend it. I think you'll like it. So those are all the kind of new romance type books that I have. And I forgot to mention this one is reading counts also. Its Lexile is 680, and it is worth 20 points. So if you would like to read any of these books, come see me, shoot me an email, and hopefully one of them sounded good to you. All right, bye.